So here it is. Rocket quad, or whatever you would like to call it. So it started out as a parts Cbr600 F1 in 1988. And I didn't have a title for it. And pretty much it's been sitting around waiting to throw the engine in something. Tossed around, throwing it in a four-wheeler, go-kart. Making a dune buggy, all kinds of stuff. But instead of really swapping it, I was looking around online and I saw a couple other people do something similar to this. And you just graft the frames from a four-wheeler onto the existing frame. All the frame parts I'm using are from a mid-90s blaster. So, little narrow, but tons of aftermarket parts for the suspension. So I've got plenty of room to expand. One major issue I'm going to have right off the bat is upgrading the brakes with something else, because I've got drum front and then it's got some goofy cable caliper for the rear, which I'm not going to even bother hooking up until I get a hydraulic set up. But right off the bat, I just took the swing arm and halfway's bolted it up in the back here. I'm going to need a little bit of bushing, but other than that, the frame, the chain alignment is going to be pretty good. I'll have to change it up a little bit, but nothing serious. The rear shock, this is the blaster shock that's in there. I'm going to take and duplicate the stock CBR mount onto the frame, so that way I can run the basically all the factory, because they got like 3 pivot points in there for the factory CBR shock. And this isn't going to be street legal or anything like that. I'm going to run it on the trails until they tell me not to, which they seem to be pretty laid back around here. And I'll still have the factory blaster VIN number, which was registered. And then I went to sell it and nobody seemed to want to buy it, so I just started parting it out. So I don't know. I'm going to have to chop this down here where the VIN number is. Can't see it worth a shit anyway, so probably just going to chop it and then cut the little section of VIN number out and tack weld it up here or something like that. But this is just the main idea of what I'm going for. I'm going to take and I just started mocking it up. This is pretty much start to finish one day so far. And this is pretty much a complete bike, and this was a roller four-wheeler with the engine out. So I'm going to take and come off of here somehow up to the factory frame. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with the neck of the CBR. I'm probably just going to chop it off here, flush, and wall the plate over and grind it smooth. I just don't want a big hole, you know, in the framework. And then down here, I'm thinking I'm going to cut it back almost tight to the control arms, and then run one straight bar across, and then come off of that. I'll probably put another support gusset in between. Come off of that and like feet nets, and then come back up here to where the factory foot peg area would be, and then weld straight to the frame. I got all the wiring to deal with still. It did run though. Then eventually after it's somewhat wheelable, I plan to make some sort of fenders for it, like the Bombardier DS650s, where they just mount pretty much to the, I think they mount to the spindle. I'm not sure. Sorry for the shitty quality. It's a cell phone deal. I haven't unpacked my new camera. Which gets me to the next point. I haven't posted any videos in quite a while, but this is my new shop. Got an RM125. Never done a video on that. I got it in a pretty sweet deal, actually. I needed rings, and I had a 80cc bike, an 86 XR 80R that I had gotten another barter deal. I cleaned the carb on it, put it back together, and ended up trading it for this. So I actually got something that's a little more manageable for me to ride versus a 80R. And all I had to do with this was rings, a few other little things, get it going, and she rips so far. Need to dial on the carburetor a little better. But, quick shop tour. Not much different than the old one, other than the toolboxes. This whole garage has been quite a bit of a remodel, because pretty much from where I'm standing, everywhere here used to be a giant cooler. Giant walk-in cooler. So I took that out. I put the normal garage door in. It had a barn door on it. And then this whole wall here is going to come down to separate those two other rooms, which are just basically catch-all storage rooms at the moment. And then I'm working on doing styrofoam and siding on the outside right now. And then I've got plenty of bad insulation. I'm going to insulate the whole thing and do steel siding everywhere on the inside. Then I'll have a lot more content this winter. This is another new project I had got and did a quick build on. 76 Cbr600 cafe bike. I didn't do much. I got it from somebody who had already built it, and I just did a few minor things, repainted it, built the pipes, fabricated the battery box, added so I could fit the cone filters over the factory. But oh, she's dirty. Looks scratched, but shitty quality. It doesn't look that bad. Got a few new pieces of equipment since my last video. I think last time I had a Lincoln TIG welder and an Everlast little 110 MIG welder. I've got a Miller Shopmaster 300. That's MIG, TIG, stick. And then I got a Hobart 210. Yeah, 210. And that's an awesome little machine for anything if you got to run anywhere. Take it somewhere. I brought it into work while our welder was broken before and welded fucking, I don't know. If you really sit and try and go turn your wire speed down, turn the amps all the way up, have a decent V on it, you could weld 1/2 inch with that thing all day. Well, not all day, but in its recommended duty cycles, it does pretty well. But that's just a little bit of shop update I got for you now and what I've been working on. I got a few other videos. I haven't really... The LS turbo build and the G-bodies totally came to a halt. It's ran into issues with the wiring harness that I had, with the engine I had. Didn't really have the time to do anything too crazy with it the way I wanted to. I sold the engine and all the parts I had in it. Minus, I still have the built trans. I had rebuilt the rear end in it. like 3 years ago now, but I have a freshly machined 010 small block in this bag here, powder coated blind board, everything totally ready to go. Board 60,000 over that I plan on doing a 380 or 388 build actually, because it's board 60 not 30, and that's just on the back burner for now. But this is pretty fun. Doesn't really cost any money. It was stuff laying around and just mostly my time and welding supplies for this. One other thing I got in the shop, since I hadn't posted anything lately, I got a Thermodynamics plasma cutter. Just a little guy, but it does fairly well for what I've been doing. It'll eat up through 3/8 all day. I've went up to about 1-inch steel I had, and just shy of getting through, like an 1/8 inch shy of coming through it. But yeah, don't mind the mess here. A little bit of from working on this guy. And I really plan on doing more videos here soon, once I get some more camera gear set up, so I'm not using my cell phone. But I just wanted to give an update since it's probably been well over a year since I posted a video. So subscribe, let me know what you'd like to see, and stay tuned for more of the CBR Blaster chop shop build. Thanks.